Yeah. Okay, can you say something? Okay, this is. I can hear you, but something is weird here. Oh, there you go. Say it again. Say something.
Good afternoon.
Oh, perfect.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we're good. All right.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Impetus. I believe this is episode 14, and today I have Lesley with me. And, we're here chatting shop talk, and she's going to tell us some things about her. So, Lesley, you take the mic and go ahead and tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Lesley. I'm a plumber gas fitter by trade. I've got my own company, Pipe Wench Plumbing and Heating. And yeah, I was born and raised in Nanaimo, BC, and moved to Fort Mac 15 years ago, and that's where I got into the trades.
Fantastic. So for you guys who don't know, this is the BC crew today, and I think we're going to have a BC crew coming in for the Bullcast soon, so that's going to be pretty exciting.
Cool.
So second question I want to ask you, so I know your dad's a carpenter, but then how did you get yourself started into plumbing?
Well, what happened is when I moved to Fort McMurray, I started working for my dad as a laborer for his construction company.
Ooh.
And then things kind of got slow, so they had to lay me off, and the plumber offered me a job. And so I kind of just took the job, and then the apprenticeship board officer came by like a few months into it and like signed me up, and they were like really on top of it, like getting people into the apprenticeship program. So I just was like, sure, I'll try it. And then signed up for school for like the following January and never looked back.
That's sweet. It's interesting how to see people get into it. So how old were you when you became a plumber? Like, how old were you when you started apprenticing then?
I was 19, 20.
Wow.
20 years old. Yeah.
That's long.
Moved up here when I was 19.
So how long have you been plumbing now then?
I'll be 14 years because I've lived in Fort Mac for 15. And so, yeah, the first year was like I worked for a cleaning company, and then my dad laboring, and then transitioned into plumbing.
So have you always thought about doing kind of construction just because your dad was in construction, or were you in school for something else even before that?
Well, yeah, when I graduated high school, I was going to go to be a home economics teacher.
Really?
Because I like cooking and sewing and stuff like that. And I didn't have enough like high school credits like chemistry and the maths and sciences. So my first year of like college was upgrading those. And like I worked my school schedule around work. So I would like go to school.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Like booked it like 8 to noon every day, and then worked the rest of the afternoons and stuff. I just couldn't like sit in a classroom, and was kind of like, I don't know if I actually want to waste my money on going to college for something I might not even want to do. And then an opportunity came up where my friend and I went traveling overseas, and then when I came back, it was kind of like, should probably just think about moving to Fort McMurray. My dad was up here working and could get a job easier than on the coast. Like I worked at the Bay Menswear and for a cleaning company, and it was like, you're only going to move up so much, like $8 an hour, you're going to get a 20-cent raise. Like just felt like a hard struggle when there's an opportunity to like make a move and potentially like get into something. I had no idea. I would never have, like 15 years ago, thought I'd be where I am now. Like,
well, do you still do some of the cooking today? Or is that still something that you really enjoy still?
Yeah, I like cooking. I don't do it as much, like living by yourself. It's hard to like get motivated to cook for yourself. And then it's like you have leftovers for a few days, and I'm just like, so it's nicer when you have like people to cook for, family and stuff like that. But yeah, I still enjoy cooking, and
Does that mean you're the
I
designated cook when you go to family outings or what? Not outings, I guess when you do
no,
like,
not really. Actually, my I've been this past weekend we had our whole family together here camping and stuff, and my sister's boyfriend's great, and he does most of the like help out with dinners and stuff, and he's a great cook, and we just kind of like share the responsibility between everybody. But
yeah,
I enjoy it. It's fun.
that's good. So
Yeah.
when you were plumbing those 15 years, what year did you start doing your own business? Like how did you come to the idea of you starting something on your own?
So yeah, I started my own company in 2012. So it'll be almost 8 years here in September.
Oh,
Um, I got into it because I was working for a guy that had big contracts. We did like commercial um, apartments with commercial space below and like condos above.
right, right.
Um, so what happened is I worked by the hour for him, and then the as subcontractors. So I kind of transitioned into just subcontracting. So I opened my own company to be able to make more money, right? Piecework
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And then slowly picked up like more jobs on my own. And then really after the Fort McMurray fire here, it's really propelled me into just doing it on my own. And the jobs changed with the economy and with what happened with the fire, the rebuild, and all of that. Um, it opened up more opportunities for me to get more into the housing side of things. So yeah, now it's just got to kind of flow with
Yeah.
the climate of the economy and stuff. And so I'm just picking up basically whatever.
I definitely
Yeah.
say sometimes it is all about timing and especially for business, people say location, but I think for us it's kind of different. Some location makes sense, if you're doing oil rigs and all that stuff, that's location, but the other stuff sometimes is the right timing for,
Yep.
especially for you, like you're talking about fires, and that was the perfect timing for you and your company to grow.
Yeah, it really it pushed me into being more independent and um, building the confidence that I could do it myself
Yeah.
and not have to work for other guys constantly subcontracting. Like I still do subcontract off certain guys, but I'm wanting to focus more on me getting the work and I'm doing it myself, right? You make more money that way.
That makes sense. Well, so talking to you, I know
Yeah.
you do a lot of commercial work. Is it just because there's a lot of commercial work, or is it just that you don't like residential, or it's just because there's so much commercial that you don't even have to think about that side?
Yeah, well, when I first started with the guy that I did my whole apprenticeship through and stuff, he just had lots of that work with one company developing condos and long-term hotels with commercial space below. With we would do the tenant and a restaurant going in or a store or whatever, and then those jobs aren't as prevalent now because of the economy. And then it was kind of like slowing down into a way where it's like, okay, I'm going to have to get into more service and picking up more residential jobs on my own. And then the fire happened, and it kind of propelled that into me working more residential. So I didn't have a lot of experience doing houses. Um, so it was perfect because rolled right into it and like basically been doing more residential than commercial now
That's
just
nice.
because of
Do you think you're
the
gonna head
way
into the service side?
um, yep, yep. I would like to pick up some drain cleaning equipment and learn more of that side of things, like um, to be like more well-rounded because Fort McMurray is only so big, and there's quite a few plumbers in town, so you have to kind of be able to do it all. And yeah, I would like to just to be able to have more services to provide to people,
Yeah, hundred
not
percent.
limiting myself to just new construction or basement renovations and stuff. You know, like the last few
It's
months, we've
it's
all
fun.
kind
It's
of
fun too. I'd say on the service side, like it's. I'm not gonna say it's better than commercial, but I feel like sometimes you're in different places. You get to talk to your customers. You have more of a connection with your clients as well. Versus you do something or your team does something, it just becomes your business, but not the person really knows how each individual is like in your team. So and I think
yeah,
sometimes that kind of experience, sharing that experience is a lot better because it's like you're kind of saving the day sometimes, and then the other times where you kind of just do commercial work, you're not exactly saving the day, but you're getting shit done. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I do like the flexibility of the service too, for like if I want to take as many calls as I want one day, or I like to golf, so Wednesdays is a ladies' night, so I don't schedule anything after 2 o'clock because I like to get to my tea time on time.
So every would you say every Saturday is a tea time?
Well, the last few months, yeah, I've been pretty much 3 to 4 times a week golfing. Tuesday, Wednesday, ladies' night, and then
Ooh.
I've got like a standing order with a few ladies Saturdays and Sundays.
That sounds fun. I would like to tee off that
Yeah,
much. I think there's a few guys in here. I think DaCosta should set up some more tea time so me and him can play some more games. The last time I
yeah.
played with DaCosta, holy crap, we shat the bed. I think we hit like 120, was it DaCosta, or 100 something? Oh man, we were terrible.
Oh, I'm just I'm just breaking 90s now, which is good. Like, so I'm like pretty happy with that. But I haven't golfed in like 2 weeks, and it feels like forever.
I know it does feel like a long time, but like it's really good this year because the weather is amazing. Because last year we didn't even get much time to golf because I think the weather was just shit.
Oh, it rains so much.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get back to the questions because sometimes I go off, and it's fun too. But um,
Tangent.
yeah,
Yeah.
but how did you get the name the Pipe Wench?
So that's funny. Actually, this one journeyman I worked for, like with, he just started calling me PW all the time, and it was like finally after like a few months, I'm like, why are you calling me PW? And he was like, because you're the pipe wench. And I was like, oh, I like it. So it was like when I was going to start my company, I was like, do I just go with like McGlennon Plumbing, or like use my last name? You know how like lots of the companies' names are like
Their last names.
and stuff, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm just like, I think I'm gonna do pipe wench, and like have like I had my buddy draw up my logo. He's like a tattoo artist in Calgary, and wanted like a kind of like 1950s pinup style, but like empowerment and stuff like that. So it was like, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, he gave me that name. It was pretty cool.
That is a good name. Do you ever tell him it was because of him that you did that name?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was like, start my company in that, and like I took a picture of the legal name and all of that, and like sent it to him or whatever, and I was just like, hey, this is all because of you. And he
He's
was just like,
ecstatic.
oh, that's awesome, I love it. Yeah, yeah,
Oh boy. So my other question, actually, you know what? It's funny that you say the trade names because when I was an apprentice, good thing I didn't put my apprentice name for my business because they called me Junior.
Junior. Yeah,
Because I'm short, right? I'm like about 5'5". So then I had
yeah,
this foreman who was about like 5'6", maybe. He's just a little bit taller. And he's always calling down the building. He's like, Junior, Junior, come over here. And he's like telling me to grab pipe all the time. So that wouldn't have been a good name, but it would have been a funny one.
yeah. I also was named like Sunshine. Some of the guys would call me Sunshine because I'm always smiling and whatever, right? And my mom's like, you should name it Sunshine Plumbing and Heating. I'm like, nah, I don't like it as much. I
That's
like
pretty.
Pipe Wench.
It's pretty happy-go-lucky one. So actually, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you a question because there are always some difficulties being a woman in the trades. Was it hard to start a business as a woman in the trades, or like did you have any difficulties of people always thinking that you go to their house or you do certain jobs that you weren't up for the task? Did you have those kind of endeavors that you had to pass?
Yeah, there's always going to be that kind of stigma of, you know, we can't do it as good as guys can do it, or we're not strong enough or big enough or whatever, but really like that's not the case at all. Like everyone's able to do anything. They put their mind to it, really. But yeah, I think it was more when I reflect back on it, it would be more about myself, like having the confidence in myself. Like
Yeah.
I think everyone struggles with that, and then but also being like male dominated industry, and you're always working with guys and stuff. There's always going to be those, ignorant people.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's pretty. I get positive feedback. Like when I go to clients' homes and stuff, at first they're surprised, and then it's like, oh yeah, and um, a lot of the calls up here I get is off of like Facebook,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of like the moms because their husbands work on site and long hours, and then something happens and whatever. So I get a lot of positive feedback in that aspect that it's like, oh, it's nice having like a woman come and handle it, and they feel more comfortable like on that side of things. So that's kind of cool. I like that. And but like in the trades, like apprenticing and stuff, I always had to feel like I had to prove it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like, okay, I've got to like work twice as hard or, you know, faster to like prove myself, because I'm a girl or whatever. But I think that's slowly fading with the culture. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's more openly accepted women in the trades, and it helps a lot when everyone like bands together, like the community versus competition
Yeah.
kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah.
I truly believe in that one
So
too. I mean, for me, I think the difficulties wasn't the sex side. It was more so the age and how I look. So, you see me on the stories. I
yeah,
always talk about ageism, and I walk into a person's house, I look like I'm 16. They'll probably think I don't know what I'm
yeah,
doing. I've had that so many times, and so many times I've blown minds. And I think, honestly, sometimes the negative side of things or the cons of things can actually give a better outcome when you're the underdog, because
yeah,
it gives so much more of a wow factor rather than people thinking, oh, you need that much more experience because you don't have gray hair on you.
yeah, totally. There's always going to be assholes out there that will say shit, and you just like, whatever. I'm just
It's
gonna show up
true.
and do my job.
It's true. Because so you've had your business for about 8 years now, correct? If I was doing the math right. You
Yeah,
said 2012. Um,
yeah.
I probably want to bring in more business side of it. So one of my questions I want to ask was, when you started your business, what would you have liked to know more of, or you wish to let people know of what to do or what they should know before they start a business?
Time management, um, and stay on top of your at home stuff, like the paperwork side of things, and you're gonna put in long hours of working and hard physical labor work, and then you're gonna go home and you're gonna have to do the same amount of time pretty
Mm-hmm.
much in paperwork. And when you're a one person show, it can be overwhelming at
Mm-hmm.
times, and then it's basically just scheduling that time to make sure you keep up on top of that stuff. I've fallen behind on my paperwork just because you're so busy, and then months go by, and then all of a sudden you're like playing catch up, and it's not a good way to operate. You got to stay on top of that stuff and like really schedule that time in, because it's too easy to not, and then all of a sudden you're pulling all nighters trying to get stuff done before taxes are due.
Yep. Yep. It just gets more. It
Right?
just gets piled up more and more the more you wait for it.
Yeah. Like this September, I'm going to look at hiring someone to do the bookkeeping side of things. I still do all of that myself.
Ooh.
And for me, it's like, I just don't want to spend that time doing it when I could be like getting more work or
Yeah.
spending more time with my family or that kind of thing. Right. But it's all comes in how you still got to pay that person to do it. So you got to have that money coming in.
Yeah.
And for the last 8 years, it's worked where it's it's been efficient cost wise just for me to do it than to pay some of the bookkeeping rates, right? Like some they average 200 to 600 a month, depending on what you're doing.
Yep, definitely. It
Right.
it, it does
So
add
to
up,
me, yeah.
especially
So
for
to
us.
me,
Like,
200
sorry, go
bucks,
ahead.
600 bucks. I'd rather that in my pocket, right? But
Yeah.
you got to take that time to do it.
It is, because I know exactly where you're coming from, because for us, we're not like regular jobs where, I'm not saying painters are any less, but let's just say paint, right? You're just going to go to the paint shop to get paint. But for us, like, gas fittings, we go somewhere else. Water products, we go somewhere else. And all of a sudden there's a leak detector, then you go to another place, and then you have like 20 accounts at different wholesalers that you find out you have different bills
Yeah.
for, that you have to keep in mind that which ones are materials, which one are assets, which ones are tools, and which ones are cost of goods, and then which ones are for bookkeeping, right? So that stuff really piles up, and then for one person to do it all, sometimes you're not even going to be able to do it.
Yeah. It gets overwhelming,
Are
but
you
you just
currently
got to keep on doing it.
are you currently working alone, or do you have a couple of gals or guys helping you out?
It's just me.
Oh, 8 years, just
I've
you.
got guys that, yeah, like, so the part of the 8 years is me working subcontracting. So it was easier to just, um, to do the bookkeeping and stuff because I was not doing as much service and residential. Like, there was basically one client. So I
Yeah.
would bill the guy that had the contract, and then that was pretty straightforward to keep up on top of that kind of thing. But then when it's transitioned now to where I'm getting the jobs myself and stuff, then it's it's not as easy to keep up on those things. But I have guys that I've worked with in the past, or that we've gone together to do jobs together. Like, we went in to do a couple houses together and split the work and all of that, where I'll call upon when, if I'm going to leave town and I have calls that I could potentially get, I'll throw them his way, kind of thing, and vice versa.
And
So
are any of those guys on Instagram as well?
I am just a, pardon?
Are any of those guys on Instagram as well that kind of help you out, or are they just kind of on their own subcontracting?
Some of them are on Instagram, yeah, that have, worked their way up to getting their ticket. And if I trust them to do the job right, um, then I'll say yes to the job and send them there to do it. But that's hard to to do too. Like, you have quality control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is hard, and I think most of the times when I do have jobs that I just can't take, I just give the whole job away to the person. I don't even say it's part of us anymore, just so they can represent
Yeah, me too.
themselves. It's a lot easier that way,
Yeah,
and you're not gonna get into fights, because there are different personal preferences on how you might want to do certain things, on how he might have his pricing. So as long as his pricing is not lower than yours, that's all I care about, or his or her. Sorry.
yeah. I've just been doing that mostly, is referring to the other reputable companies that are in town, that when I can't do the work, I'll send people them that way. They send people my way. Like, that's how it should be, right?
Yeah. Are you planning on hiring some apprentices soon then?
Uh, no, that I probably won't hire an apprentice or anything in the next year or so.
Ooh,
I would like to get to that point where it would be cool to have like a girl crew,
nice.
and I could have, like, you know, pipe wench mobile too, and have, a bunch of wenches rolling around. But where I live, I don't know if there's any ladies out there that are like in the plumbing industry. There isn't very many in Fort McMurray. Like, I think I'm the only one.
That's good. That's good. I mean, you can dominate that
But
side.
that would be
Only
that would
women-owned
be
company.
a long, yeah, that would be like a long-term goal, would be, to have a bunch of women being pipe wenches and
Yeah,
rocking it. It would be awesome.
it's true. Getting another van and getting another person is definitely another undertaking. and it's a lot more stress, but it is quite rewarding in that sense. It means what the plumbing solver here is saying, that the less paperwork you have means you get more golf time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you're just doing paperwork after golfing.
Yeah, because then somebody else can do the work, and then you end up doing paperwork. So which is the
Yeah.
weird transition that probably down the road you will get to, because the transition from me going from the fact that I can't be that much on the field anymore just means that all my time is spent into just marketing and all the paperwork, and you will end up
Yeah.
missing the field. So I would always say, if you have that time now, just cherish it, because field time does get
Yeah.
a lot less once you're in the office. And it's not that I don't want to do the job. It's just that if you do too many of them, people don't get experience, and then they don't get enough of that exposure to the work that they should know how to do. So a lot of juggling.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. It's
next to,
constant juggling.
it is even by yourself. It is constant juggling, because a lot of people that start their own thing and then they want to hire and they want to make more money, they kind of feel that if I did it, this next person I'm going to hire can do the same thing. But the famous, not the
Yeah.
famous, but the thing that goes out there is the fact that, hey, just because you start your business, it's your business, that's why you care about it 100%. But this next person, he's not going to put the 100% that you're putting out for your own business. It's going to be half of that, or even 30% of that. So that's where the big changes come in. And then they always complain about who they hire and all that kind of crap. So that's part of the cycle. But going on to the next thing, next question I want to ask you: what are some things in plumbing that you absolutely love doing?
That I love doing. I love doing the boilers, all the hydronic heating, that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not super experienced at it, so there's so much to learn, and I would love to get more like into those jobs, but they're few and far between. They're costly, and people are tight on money. They're not putting those systems in, but be better to get more of that work. I enjoy doing that. I love fitting copper and soldering and putting like the puzzle together. I love puzzles. So
Ooh.
that's like you get all the parts and they're all like in boxes, and then you lift and plan how you're going to fit it into a tight space. Like most mechanical rooms are smaller than we all wish. Like when I build a dream home, like mechanical room will be like one of the hangout areas.
Yeah.
So I like doing that. I also like doing the like hard work too, like groundwork. Some of those days, like going in and doing some groundworks and that, just digging away and put the tunes on, and you can really see what you did that day. Like you start off with just a bare basement, and then most of the time it's just digging 4 hours and planning it all, and then laying the pipe in an hour or two. And then it's nice when you come back after it's poured and everything is in the right spot.
And then there's like pipe everywhere.
Yeah.
I laid that.
Yeah. I like that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, I like being physical, working, and I like plumbing, how it's always a new thing every day. Like you can have a plan for what you think you're going to do tomorrow, changed 20 times already,
Yeah.
And like really just having to like, okay, plan B now, plan C, plan D, plan E. Okay, we're back to plan A. Let's go.
I feel you. There's always so much changes, especially not only commercial, just residential. Any changes, everybody always changes their mind, and then when you hit them with the extra, they're like, "Oh, why the extra?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or like you get a call and it's like, "Oh, you want to just like replace this faucet?" It's like, "Oh, easy swap out." And then you go there, it's like 10 other things have arisen because of it. And that's one thing I'm learning lots is with the service side, like what to have on your van and being organized so that you're not wasting time going back and forth to the wholesaler.
Yeah, and probably informing the clients enough where, when you know the situation, how one thing can lead to another. And I think that's one of the things that I don't like about it. You know, sometimes when you do have to do service on our end, it's kind of like you have to write them a whole essay, kind of like stating that, oh, if you fix a faucet, there might be this issue, there might be that issue. But a lot of people just think, oh, you touched the faucet last, you're the person who broke the rest of the other system. But, you know, that's not how things are.
Yeah. No. Especially when they buy it off Wayfair.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's my favorite. I don't do any jobs now. If I don't mind if they buy it from Wayfair or wherever they're buying it from, as long as everything's there. But I think 80% of the time I just say
it's
no.
never. Yeah.
Just because you know, it just doesn't come with all the parts.
No, and that's like to the untrained eye, homeowner looking at a box of what it should be and then actually trying to install it. There's like always 5 to 10 items that are missing, you know, and it's like, okay, well then, because we're doing this and that, blah, blah. And most of the time, the clients that I have are good and they're just like, okay, do what you need to do. Don't worry about it. Yes, put those new valve stops on. We don't want a potential to leak down the road, you know. For the most part, people are good, but I always just emphasize customer supplies. I'm not warranting that product. It's not my product that I'm bringing in. You're supplying that. So if there's any materials needed on top of it, that's extra. That's going to be more. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, people are really good with it. Like price-wise, they'll pay.
It usually is like that. How do you go to do those? Do you usually give the pricing up front? Do you do like flat rate, or do you do hourly for the customers then when you kind of do those?
I'll do hourly. Some jobs, depends on like if it's a basement reno or something, I'll go and scope it out and then give them an estimate on what it would be to do their basement development, or if they want an idea of how much it's going to be, I just tell them my rate and then they decide from there if I'm too expensive or not. Then go on Facebook and find somebody else.
Yeah, that's good.
This is what it costs.
I always feel like the initial cost is the best thing for a company. That a lot of people, you know, it's different because there's so many programs out there, kind of like Nexstar, and I don't know. I can't name any more other than Nexstar that I know of. It's just that, you know, they give you a certain flat rate, maybe like $60 or $70, and then they say that they're going to come in first to take a look at the situation. So, you know, their main purpose is to get in the door. And then once they get in the door, they sell the crap out of you, and it turns into a $700 ticket. Whereas people don't understand that for us as smaller companies, we like to do, you know, maybe 120, 140 just to get our foot in the door. But it's because we don't want to waste our time with that shit, and we don't want to be lying to our customers. But, you know, I think that just takes time for people to notice that this is what's happening to the trade when these people create systems that kind of make things go faster, and it just gives people the mask of a cheaper cost in the up front. Yeah, it's like they want to get in. Yeah, they might be cheaper for the first part, but it's going to end up costing people more money. Yeah. But I think people are slowly realizing that with that kind of operating. Yeah. I'm pretty much straight up honest. If it's going to take me this long, that's how much it's going to cost you. And for the most part, if people like that, or if it's going to be more or whatever, then I'll work with people on that, like depending on their situation and struggles and whatnot. And if it's an emergency and they can't get anybody else and whatever, but for the most part, I don't have too big of a problem saying no to people. That you can just tell some people they're either just wanting it super cheap and they don't care about the quality. Yeah. Then it's kind of like I don't want to take those jobs, because then that potentially could look bad for me. Like, oh, if they don't care, the quality doesn't care. Well, I do. So that's why you have to pay more. Yeah, definitely. And they don't see that, right? You know, for them, plumbing is more things of the past and something that's more like we're apes or kind of thing, and they don't think that a heating system or whatever system is that much more than a computer or cabinets, let's just say sometimes. And that's
Yeah.
just what really frustrates me, because people are willing to pay the aesthetics of like 60, 70 to 100,000 for all kitchen cabinets, but then when you give them a mechanical room that's about 20 something to 30 grand, let's just say, they just flip their
Yep.
heads and they're just like, I don't need
Yep.
this in my house. Well, would you try not having heating in Fort McMurray, right?
Yeah. Good luck, Chuck.
So I'm gonna go back to that other question. So those are the things
Yeah.
that you like, but what's something that you actually don't like to do? Is there anything you don't like to do on on the plumbing spectrum?
The plumbing that I don't like, I don't know. I like it all pretty much.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I can't like pinpoint one particular thing that I don't like doing. Um, so I don't know. The
I'll tell
paperwork.
I'll tell you what. Okay, that's the business side. Yeah, that's still plumbing. I'll tell you what I
Yeah,
don't like about
the
plumbing.
plumbing.
For me, I would say it would be bathtubs. I don't like dropping in bathtubs. That's one of my kryptonite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bathtubs are hard. They're a bitch to
Yep,
do.
they're a bitch.
Um, they're just a struggle. Yeah, tubs. That would be. But yep, tubs are hard. Like especially one person like jockeying that thing around and like trying to do it safe so you don't hurt your back, and then you get the fiberglass in your hands and
The thing
oh,
about it
those
is, like, if
slivers.
it's new construction, like new commercial, new residential, it's still okay. But like when you have to drop one of those in like a commercial residential application where I can't get to the back wall and I can't get to the bottom, and then I have to measure the crap out of it, and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect measurement, and then I put it in and it still doesn't hit the center. That's when
Yeah.
I get really, that's when I get really
Oh
pissed.
yeah, like doing renos and
Yeah.
ripping out old bathrooms and then trying to get a new tub in there in a tight place without wrecking the rest of the house,
Yeah.
right? And like they just want their bathtub redone and like the vanity or whatever. It's like
Everything's going out.
trying to get in and oh yeah, those are good jobs too though because they're hard work,
Yeah.
but you have to like really think about it, and it's one of those jobs where you can take a picture before and it's like a 1980s bathroom and now it's upgraded, and the homeowner you have to get it done in a timely manner because people need to use their washroom. They can't go
Yeah.
weeks without a bathroom.
It's
So
also a
that's kind of cool, like
misinterpretation,
time
like
crunch, get it done,
it is
plus
a
it's
time
that
crunch.
instant you get to see what you did.
It is a time crunch, and like it's a misimprint in interpretation. Sorry, getting my. So it's a misinterpretation where people think dropping in a tub's really fast. Because I've told customers before that if you're living in a residential commercial area, sometimes it takes actually more than half a day to drop that stupid ass tub.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
like
it's not like a
2 hours. We're out of here.
like a wham bam.
Sometimes it takes us a whole fucking
My
day.
my old boss used to say that. Yeah. My old boss used to say, "Oh yeah, this is just a wham bam job." I'm like, as soon as he said wham bam, I'm like, I'm in for it. This is gonna be all day, and it's gonna be a struggle.
Wham bam. It sounds like me. You know what I tell
Yeah,
Jason and Daryl and them? I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be an easy job, man. You guys got it. You guys got it. You'll be finished in like 2 hours, and then they come back out 8 hours. Like, it's not easy, Terrence. It's not easy.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I know.
yeah. You're like, oh yeah, this is easy,
So,
easy
oh yeah,
peasy
I
lemon
know.
squeezy. Sure.
I know. I just wanted to give you 2 hours, to let you know to work harder.
Yeah, yeah. 12.
uh, so I do look on your Instagram quite a bit, and other than work and golf, you also have a lot of pictures of your dog. So I'm just curious
Yeah.
personally, like what kind of dog is it, and how old is he or she?
Well, she's a miniature dachshund.
Oh,
So
okay.
she's a long hair mini dachshund. She's 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, unfortunately now I'm going through a divorce, and so it was his dog originally before we
Oh,
got together, and so she's gone on to live with him.
oh no, that's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, I get to see her like all like visitor stuff, but it's better for her because being that old, like 14, plus she has like epilepsy kind of issues. It's better to have that routine and structure, and just with the way, like, you can't really share a dog, so
Yeah.
she went with him. But I got to enjoy like 10 solid years with her, 12 years, yeah, 10, 11 years with her, and like I cherish every second of that, and so I
That was
can't
great.
like I can't be upset about it.
I mean, it's good and bad because if you see it this way, like when they get too old, you're not gonna have, you know, you're heartbroken earlier than having the heartbreak of her passing away. And I'm not saying, because 14 is pretty old, right? And I always feel that
Yeah,
when mine gets older, that I'd be pretty devastated if I were by its side and it just went away one day. Honestly.
yeah. We had another dash hound. He was like the mini dash hound that you see on all the commercials, the wiener dog,
Yeah.
the standard red short. And he passed away a few months after the fire, and that was like really hard. So when you lose like to me, I don't have kids, so my pets are like my little fur family, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard when they pass away. Like he got really sick, and because of the fire, the vets weren't reopened yet
Oh.
after the fact, and we couldn't get him to the vet, and he passed away in my arms actually. So that was tough. So I know how that feels. So it is like you said, it's easier to say
That is tough.
goodbye before you say goodbye.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That gets me sad. Anyways, let's talk about something
Yeah.
else. I'm gonna show an Instagram picture here. I think I sent it to you as well, but that comes back to
Yeah.
us talking about what you were talking about, the paperwork and this mess here. I forgot how long this was. Maybe it was a 3 or 4 years ago on your Instagram, where you had the picture of all your
Yeah.
paperwork, and you
Oh,
had your
okay.
printer there, and you had your doggy bed there, and you had your
Yeah. Okay.
laptop.
So yeah, that was 4 years ago because that was a few months after the Fort McMurray wildfire, and we came back and we had to renovate the condo because of smoke damage.
Uh,
So we came back and we're renovating the condo and still having to like work. So it was working and then coming home and doing flooring and painting and then paperwork. Like the living room was a total disaster.
that's what it looks like over here. Work doesn't stop, right? You just have to go everywhere.
Yeah. And you got to set that printer up and print that anywhere, right? Like,
Yeah, I
so
remember
yeah,
those
we
days.
lived kind of a bit of a mess there for a few months, just trying to get, everything, juggling multiple things at once. But yeah, that was an interesting time.
That was definitely my time back in the day. Not for the renovation, but in my room, so you can see it's still pretty messy anyway. But my room for the longest time was like that too, where I had like stacks and stacks of paper on the floor and everything has to be sorted out, and I couldn't even get all the crap together. And then you look outside my house, I had like 2-inch SDR pipe still just laying there. I had like a 90-foot coil. It was just this week that I brought it back to the shop. That was such a
Oh
stupid
gosh.
call. I had a call where it was like a 2-inch polyethylene pipe, and I had to fix it, and I ended up shark biting that piece of shit, um, because it was just I just couldn't find the film mac, and the film mac couldn't go in anyways because I had to jackhammer it up. And the worst part about polyethylene pipe, especially 2-inch, is they don't sell it by little foot. They're like, oh, you gotta buy
No.
the whole coil. And I'm like, holy shit, it'll
Yeah.
take me 20 years to even finish this coil. Probably then I still won't
Yeah.
be finished with it. So if anybody
Yeah, there's
knows they
always
need
those
pipe,
kind of jobs.
come
Yeah.
find me.
Hit him up.
Yeah, so sorry, what were you saying? There are those types of jobs that sometimes you pick up stuff that you'd never use again, right?
Yeah, that you might not ever use, but do you throw it out? No. Do you keep it?
You can't, right? Like, how am I gonna throw away $300 worth of pipe? It's
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah, it's just like specific things, and just okay, you'll eventually use it or eventually sell it to somebody or whatever. But
I feel
it's
you.
just yeah.
Alan over here just reminded me of one more thing. He was saying that Alan Carlson. He's saying that the other thing
Yeah.
that he doesn't like is installing dishwashers. That's
Oh
that's
yeah,
another one I would
dishwasher.
agree.
Good one, Alan. I don't like dishwashers either, and they make them so cheap now. Like, if we take on like the responsibility for hooking up the dishwasher, it's most of the time it's a manufacturer manufacturer defect.
That's a good one. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh. It is, and then a lot of people are like, oh, well, you installed it. How come you're not warranting it? And you're just like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
one of those calls again. Or I don't
Yep.
understand, because half the time it's just like people like to get the high end stuff, and one of the high end ones that I don't like is probably Bosch. Bosch is a pain in the ass. Fisher Paykel's sometimes a pain in the ass, and then you have Miele. That's what they call it, Miele. The ones that,
Mila.
yeah, so they want you to install it, but then half the times they're saying that, oh, if you actually get Miele to install it, what they do is they warranty the whole system. So some people want to cheap out on it and they get their plumbers to install it, but it actually becomes more expensive.
Right. Yeah. And they're tight. You know, getting those dishwashers in there and setting them up so they're nice and even and not ruining the cabinetry or the flooring. And that's also one thing is drilling out in the back of the cabinets. That's always just awkward. Anyways.
I know what you mean. I got one last question for you.
Yeah.
What's the next tool that you really want and that you're gonna buy?
Next tool, that's toss up. I really want to get like a press gun for doing press fittings instead of soldering, just for expanding for the service side of things. But I also would like to get like a camera and like flex shaft kind of drain cleaning equipment that would probably provide me more be able to provide more service on the drain side.
Yeah.
The press side would be just for like cool to have, but and those odd times where you can't solder, like you can always get a solder in there, but you need the equipment to do the drain jobs, and
more
so
versatile.
it would be a toss up there. Yeah, more versatile for sure. I think it would. Then my next goal is to put money aside to get drain cleaning equipment and try to like branch out more on that side of things.
I think you could. I think you'll love it a lot. In the sense of the money side, drain cleaning is not always the best, but after you see how much you can make from drain cleaning, it's like night and day. Literally just for jobs. Sometimes it's kind of like, I don't understand why people like to build houses so much, because damn, I can get as much as you're roughing in a day. Whereas people have to work probably like 2 to 3 weeks for that roughing, and it's crazy. It's crazy how much money is coming from it. You can see from Drain Mob, he's even pulling money out from washing machines.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be my next strategic buy, would be that kind of equipment. It would be nice to get the press tool too, but I'll just have to see how the cookie crumbles.
That's awesome. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. I'd like to thank you very much for coming to the show again, Lesley. And I do know it was very late. I am sorry for that. But I do appreciate your time that you've taken out, probably almost an hour. Went longer than expected just because it's awesome chatting with you. But anything else you want to let the viewers know, or anything else you'd like to say or promote that you have something coming up, let us know.
Well, I do a little... On Fridays, I do with Food Viper Fridays. It's turned into Live Viper, where it's basically me just recapping the week, and it turns into a shit show. I don't save the lives. It's good to catch up with people that way and like have some fun and whatnot.
And get drunk.
Get drunk. Yep, that happens. And then this summer, basically the next few weeks, I'm just here at Shuswap. I'm helping my dad build his house. So a lot of my posts are going to be just building Bob's house and spending that time with him, and like that you can't get that time back. Like, this will probably be his last house he builds. He's 69 years old.
Wow.
And it's quite a heavy feat. So I thought I would take the time to do it with him because you can't do that. I don't know how many people can say they've built their house with their dad.
Yeah.
From literally the ground up, and it's an experience that I want to have for myself and to have with my dad, with my own 2 hands. Yeah. So we're gonna put in hydronic heating in that house throughout and everything. So I'm like super stoked. He's gonna get like a Cadillac deal on that. So
I can't wait to see
it'll
that
be
one.
exciting to. Yeah, and then other than that, I was hoping to go to Hacks in September.
Yeah.
But I think that's a no-go, just considering with the COVID and stuff like that. But yeah,
what about like AHR
plan to
and all
go.
the other ones? AHR and the wet shows, were you planning
I
to go
was
to that next year?
Yeah, I would totally be down to going to those for sure. We talked about that actually, how going to those conferences and stuff, so you can really promote yourself. Mm-hmm. And then networking with other guys and stuff. That's what I love about the Instagram, is it's really like brought me into this whole like community online. Is just fabulous, and learning so much from other people and like all the other women in the trades too.
Oh, yeah.
And like getting to know them and stuff. It's awesome. And then I just think that would just be the cherry on top, would be to go to actually meet these people, not via video screen and
save
stuff
some
like
time
that.
for
You
that.
can really get to, so I think AHR for sure. Alan's been like chirping in my ear. We're going to go have some deep dish
Alan.
pizza.
That's Alan every day. Hope he's listening to that one. Alan's tripping everybody's ear. What's his last name? What's his other name? Coach Alan, or what did they call him on the board?
Coach Carlson.
Coach Carlson. Yeah, that's
Coach Carlson. Yeah.
Oh, that's a funny one.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, before we do end off the stream, you and I are doing a special giveaway. So for all you guys listening, and all you guys here anyways, you will get an extra entry regardless. But what Lesley and I are doing is called the mini or the tiny giveaway. And this giveaway is going to be the tiniest tools that we can find from the trade that we're going to put together as a little small package that we're going to dish out and put out as a giveaway. So I think that's going to be fun. So hopefully you guys can look out for that one.
Yeah, and this giveaway, it's funny because I messaged you on Instagram about you were at Home Depot and you had like a tiny tool thing, and I was like, oh my god, you should do a tiny giveaway, like put all little tiny tools, like you get like the tiny Teflon in the roll Teflon. Of like the faucet or something. It's like you get that tiny roll of Teflon, like everything just miniature.
I think I do have a few things in mind. So I went to the store to buy yesterday, and so far what I do have is the mini clamps from DeWalt. So there's 2 little mini clamps. Trust me, those are really useful. I got the little stubby Milwaukee bits, and then on top of that, I got the little rigid copper cutters, little ones that are like this small.
Oh, yeah, and, nice. I got these mini stickers.
We'll take those, and then whatever you can find or add in for mini, because I don't know where the mini Teflons are. But I also have one thing that I might get from Toto. Not Toto, but our reps here, because I have a little miniature toilet from them. But I have one that's mine. Yeah. Nobody's taken that one. But then I'm going to try to get another one and put on the mini giveaway as well. So it'll be a cute little giveaway.
Yeah, I will think of a few things here to throw in.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming again, Lesley, and thank you everybody.
Good talking to you, man.
It was great talking to you. Thank you for coming, and thank you everybody for listening on the stream and being part of the stream again. Anybody who's missed it, you guys want to watch it again, it will be on YouTube and it will be on Twitch. And for Lesley, if you do want to watch it again, you want to show other people, it's going to be uploaded right away. Actually, as we're talking, it's uploading onto YouTube, so you'll be able to find it on the playlist. So
sweet.
Thanks again, Lesley. You have yourself a good week.
Nice talking to you.
Have a good one.
Yes, I will.
See you later.
Bye.
And that is it for Coffee with Impetus episode, 14. And I always like to say the same thing. Thank you once again. I always have a strong community of 6 to 8 people or even 10 people that have always been watching this. One day we'll blow up. Doesn't matter if we blow up or not. Most of it will be redone and shown online. So thank you very much for being part of it. And if you guys are waiting for stuff, you do know that we have the hats. Yes, these are out, but version 2 is coming out for the t-shirts, so that's really exciting. Hopefully you guys can support it, and if you like it, go and grab one because they're gonna be lit. See you guys later.